Has a WWE release just been confirmed? But first, we have an update on this former AEW star potentially signing for WWE. Yesterday, a report would emerge from Wrestling Observer newsletter that revealed Brian Pillman Jr. was spotted training at the WWE Performance Center on Thursday. This just 2 days after it was revealed that his All Elite Wrestling contract had come to an end. According to a new report from Fightful Select that dropped last night, WWE sources would confirm that Pillman was in fact working at the facility, but as of now, he had not been signed to a contract. They would then reveal the nature of the visit and wrote, "We're told that what he's doing resembles a bit of a get-to-know-you meeting, and that WWE had immediate interest when he became available. We're told that things regarding a lot of the people they bring in are being kept close to the vest, but that Pillman was in plain sight of many others at the PC." Whilst a contract offer hasn't been made, it's clear that Pillman is on WWE's radar at the very least, and we'll now have to see how the story develops in the days and weeks ahead. And next, a WWE superstar has shaved their head. Last night, WWE would host the latest episode of Friday Night SmackDown, a show that saw Bayley defeat Zelina Vega in singles action. After the match, celebrations were interrupted by Shotzi, who appeared on the Titantron. During the pre-taped vignette, Shotzi would send a message to the Damage Control leader, who stole a lock of her hair, with her cutting a maniacal promo stating that she's in control, before shaving her head in front of the camera. Whilst the segment portrays Shotzi as unhinged in storyline following her recent encounter with Bayley, we actually have the real reason for the angle, and it's a lot more wholesome. After the show, she would take to her Instagram story to send a message to her sister Sean, who is currently battling cancer following a diagnosis during the holiday season, who too has had to shave her head due to going through chemotherapy treatment. Shotzi would write, "I love you, sister, you are my inspiration," with her choosing to shave her head in solidarity with her sibling. According to the GoFundMe page, Shotzi's sister was diagnosed with liver cancer, a form of cancer that chemotherapy alone can't cure, with her family hoping to raise enough money to get the additional treatment needed. I'll leave a link in the pinned comment to the GoFundMe page if you're able to help out. Next up, a popular WWE superstar has vowed to win gold. At the Money in the Bank pay-per-view earlier this month, LA Knight would fall short in his attempt to win the men's ladder match, this despite being a clear favourite amongst the fanbase. Last night on Friday Night SmackDown, Knight was given a chance to redeem himself, with him now on the path for a shot at the United States Championship. Last night, the United States Title Invitational would kick off, a series that will see 2 fatal 4-way matches, with the winners then facing off next week for a shot to Austin Theory's belt. On SmackDown, Santos Escobar would confirm his spot in the final 2 with a win over AJ Styles, Butch, and Grayson Waller, with him now set to meet either LA Knight, Cameron Grimes, Sheamus, or WWE Hall of Famer Rey Mysterio next week. The winner of that match will then earn a shot at Austin Theory for the WWE United States Championship later down the line. But who do you think will win the US Title Invitational? And will the winner defeat Austin Theory for the belt? Let me know in the comments down below. Next up, has a new WWE faction just been formed? Let's get to another story coming out of last night's episode of SmackDown, where Bobby Lashley was seen meeting up with Angelo Dawkins and Montez Ford of the Street Profits, with them seemingly undergoing some kind of business meeting. The 3 men would be seen linking up in the parking lot before entering a blacked out SUV that was seen driving out of the arena. This has led to speculation that they could be starting a brand new stable going forward. As part of this online speculation, some people feel that this could be Hurt Business 2.0, where the trio to link up with MVP and Omos, and potentially other former members Shelton Benjamin and Cedric Alexander, although we'll have to see how things play out from here. But who would you like to see added to this potential new faction between Bobby Lashley and the Street Profits? Let me know in the comments down below. And now let's move on to the latest from the Bloodline saga. Last week, Jey Uso would issue a challenge to the undisputed WWE Universal Champion Roman Reigns, with last night's episode of SmackDown providing a follow-up to the segment. Jey would appear in the ring to cut an emotional promo, with him seeking revenge on Solo Sikoa and Roman Reigns for their attack on his brother Jimmy last week that has seen him ruled out of action for the foreseeable future. Paul Heyman and Solo Sikoa would then interrupt, blaming Jey for what happened to Jimmy, stating that their mother will never forgive him. Jay's other brother, Solo, would then take to the mic, telling him that he too will never forgive him, before a brawl broke out between the two of them. Jay would then eventually clear Sikoa from the ring, which allowed him to open up a super kick onto Paul Heyman, with Uso standing tall in the middle of the ring to close the segment. Jey Uso and Roman Reigns will now meet face to face next week to discuss the rules of engagement ahead of their potential match at SummerSlam for the undisputed WWE Universal title, although the challenge is yet to be officially accepted. And speaking of title matches, a championship will be on the line next week on AEW Dynamite. Over recent weeks, Jungle Boy Jack Perry has been on the run from former tag team partner Hook, who he turned on at the recent Forbidden Door pay-per-view after his loss to Sanada. This past Wednesday on Dynamite, Jack would declare that he will not return until he gets a shot at Hook's FTW Championship, a shot that he has now been given. On last night's episode of Rampage, Hook would appear in a short promo taped from Lower East Side of Manhattan, where he would send a short and sweet message to Perry accepting his request for an FTW title shot. The match will go down this Wednesday on AEW Dynamite, adding to the already confirmed Blood and Guts match between the Golden Elite and the Blackpool Combat Club with Konosuke Takeshita and Pac. But who leaves Boston as FTW champion this Wednesday? Let me know in the comments down below. And next up, a major star is scheduled to be at tonight's Impact pay-per-view. Tonight, Impact Wrestling will host the 21st annual Slammiversary event from Windsor, Ontario, Canada, a show that will see the Impact Knockouts Championship on the line when Deonna Purrazzo defends against Trinity, the former Naomi in WWE. According to a new report from PW Insider, Trinity's friend Mercedes Moné, the former Sasha Banks, is scheduled to be at the show, with them taking to their main site to write. Mercedes Moné, aka the former Sasha Banks, is expected to be in attendance at tomorrow's Slammiversary pay-per-view in Windsor, Ontario, PWInsider.com has confirmed. The belief amongst those we've spoken with is that Moné is coming to the event in support of Trinity and would not likely be appearing on camera. Both Mercedes and Trinity have showed each other strong support since they left WWE earlier this year, with them both being in attendance for each other's New Japan and Impact Wrestling debuts respectively. We won't be seeing Mercedes entering the Impact Zone in an on-screen capacity. And now we have the latest on the Owen Hart Foundation tournament. Last night on AEW Rampage, Athena and Willow Nightingale would go one-on-one in the semi-finals of the Owen Hart Cup, with a spot in tonight's final up for grabs. The bout had been delayed from last Saturday's episode of AEW Collision due to a knock suffered by Willow during her recent NJPW Strong Women's title loss to Julia, with her gaining clearance for this past Wednesday's tapings. In the end, it was in fact Willow that secured her place in the final. This after she caught the ROH Women's Champion off guard with a pinfall out of nowhere for the 1-2-3. This means she will now meet Ruby Soho on tonight's live episode of AEW Collision with the trophy on the line, with her win over Athena also earning her a future ROH Women's title shot somewhere down the line. Elsewhere on the Collision card, Ricky Starks will meet CM Punk in the final of the men's Owen Hart Foundation tournament, with FTR also set to put their AEW World Tag titles on the line against Juice Robinson and Jay White of Bullet Club Gold. And next, a huge match is set for AEW Rampage next week. Hook vs Jack Perry and Ruby Soho vs Willow Nightingale wasn't the only match that was booked last night on Rampage, as it would be confirmed that the Royal Rampage match is scheduled for next Friday with a shot at the AEW World Championship on the line. A video package would air last night that confirmed Ethan Page, Matt Hardy, Isaiah Cassidy, Jeff Hardy, Jay Lethal, Satnam Singh and Sanjay Dutt as participants, with more names set to be added in the days ahead. The Royal Rampage is a battle royal match that takes place inside 2 rings, a setup that will be in place for Wednesday's live taping of Dynamite as well as the pre-taped edition of Rampage, this due to the Blood and Guts match. Last year it was Brody King of the House of Black that secured the #1 contendership for the AEW World title, with him ultimately falling short in his match against then interim AEW World Champion Jon Moxley. But who do you want to see win this year's Royal Rampage match? Let me know in the comments down below. And next, a current WWE superstar has called out The Rock. Earlier this week, The Rock would respond to a social media video posted by Grayson Waller, who declared that his Madison Square Garden debut was much better than the great ones. Rock would then call Grayson an outback jack-off, with fans wondering if this could lead to an on-screen interaction between the two. Well, we may have taken one step closer to this, as Grayson Waller would appear in a backstage promo last night on SmackDown, where he had some additional words for the former WWE champion, and he would say, "Everyone's talking about Grayson Waller, including The Rock, the great one himself, the great one himself. Every single week his family is imploding right in front of him every week on SmackDown, but he's worried about me, and I know he's desperate for the Grayson Waller rub, and if he wants more of my clouds, he knows where to find me." It remains to be seen if The Rock will actually show up on SmackDown in the future. However, this wouldn't be the first time Waller has got the rub from a WWE legend, with him recently interacting with John Cena at the Money in the Bank pay-per-view, receiving an attitude adjustment for his efforts. Next up, has a WWE release just been confirmed? In November 2022, former Impact World Champion Eric Young would quietly re-sign with WWE, this after being killed off of Impact Television. With that said, we haven't yet seen him re-emerge inside a WWE ring, something we now have an update on via PW Insider. According to the report, Young has been spotted at Detroit Airport ahead of tonight's Slammiversary event, adding credibility to the theory that he is set to fill a mystery spot on the card. On this week's episode of Impact Wrestling, EVP Scott D'Amore would be seen making a phone call to his secret tag team partner ahead of the show, somebody he will team with tonight against Bully Ray and Cody Deaner. It was then hinted that this will be a former member of Team Canada, with the most likely options being either Bobby Roode or P.T. Williams, who are both signed to WWE, or Eric Young, who is the most likely to have been quietly let go from WWE due to not appearing on TV since signing last year. As well as this, Williams is a road agent and Roode is injured. Adding to the theory, it was Deaner that killed Eric off of TV last year, making Young the most logical option for the mystery partner. And before you go, make sure you check out how AEW can change wrestling forever.